First of all, I've never had an interview with a better gold price. You are definitely the best. We should do this. We should book more.
Hello, silver fans. This is T, and you're in the place to be for silver education, acquisition, and entertainment. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Lior Gantz, thank you so much for joining me once again.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a while, and a lot's happened since the last time we talked. Lately in the news, for those of us who are paying attention, gold is just really taken off. Just before our conversation, I looked at the 1 week chart, I looked at the 6 month chart, and I looked back to the 5 year gold chart. 5 years ago, gold was sitting at $1,300 an ounce. Now we're only $100 an ounce. What's going on, and where do you see it going?
Well, first of all, I've never had an interview with a better gold price. So
Yeah.
you are definitely the best. We should do this. We should book more. I think one thing that is really interesting about this period is that the price of gold was very subdued for the entirety of 2024 so far. What you saw is after it rose above 2,000 an ounce, it kind of fluctuated between 2010 and 2050.
Mhm.
So only a $40 range for 2 months. That's extremely quiet trading.
Right.
And I think just a week ago on another interview, I said that this is a great time not to do anything
Mhm.
because it will either break out big with a $40 or $50 a day, or it will break down big on a $40, $50 a day. Then you'll have better confirmation. And about 2 days after I said that, we had Friday, which was the 1st of March, and the price rose about $47 an ounce. And the reason is ISM data came in weak, meaning inflation is or the economy is slowing, which helps the Fed to think about easing faster than they would like to. And also, Whaler, who is a very influential Fed governor, came out with a research thesis that talked about Operation Reverse Twist, which basically means that they want to control short-term yields. Short-term yields, if they want to control them, that means that they're going to be aggressively buying bonds, and that suppresses the yield in theory. It suppresses it down. But basically, what they mean to say is that inflation is spiking in the short term. That's why they want to do this. Because otherwise, why would you buy short-term bonds and suppress interest rates if they're already naturally coming down? So the market took it as even after all of this, inflation is coming back, and there's a multitude of reasons why. And I explained that between now and 2027, we're going to have a very inflationary America a number of times, and we're seeing it now. So gold broke out on that. For it to really break out, you need to see the stock market starting to cool, because it's just on a tear. Not that I'm complaining.
Yeah, exactly.
If you look at my portfolio that I released for your viewers and is available at wealthresearchgroup.com/portfolio. I mean, that portfolio has, I think, half of it is at all-time highs. Some of the other ones are at 52-week highs, and some of these companies have gone up double, triple, and quadruple in the last 3, 4, 5 years. So, as I keep saying, gold is a great part of your portfolio, but if you make it the entirety of your portfolio, you're making a great mistake, because it's just not. Its purpose is not to contain all of your wealth in.
Right. I just had an interview with a gentleman who is someone who manages portfolios, and his number he was throwing out there was 5 to 10%. Would you say that's in the ballpark of gold holdings?
For me, for the physical, it's never been about percentage.
Mhm.
It's been about how many years of expenses do I want to keep in
Oh.
physical gold? So what I did was I calculated, and I keep calculating my family my family units burn rate, and just for theory, let's say it's $10,000 a month just to make it even, and I took 24 months, so 2 years. If there's a real event, if there is a problem, something that happens once in 100 years, we're coming up on 100 years for the Great Depression. If there's a nuclear situation, anything, I want to have 2 years worth of savings, not in fiat currencies or short-term bonds or anything that's tied to paper instruments. I want to have it in physical, and that's what I did. I took 24 months. Let's say 24 times 10,000. That's $240,000. It's just in theory. Obviously, everyone's different, and that is my physical gold position. That gives me security that if there's a depression in the United States of America, something that hasn't happened since 1929, I have 2 years worth of gold tucked away. And what's beautiful about it is, even if there's no depression, it works, because the price of gold has risen from 250 to now 2,100 in the 21st century. It's gone from 35 an ounce to 2,100 in the span of last 53 years. And it's hard to find a period where owning gold over fiat is a mistake. So I don't see the downside. So the only thing I do see is what's called opportunity cost, where you say to yourself, well, okay, well, let's say I bought gold in 2011. I'm up in the last decade about 10%. So you have opportunity costs for not getting involved in other things. That's why I'm saying 100% is too fanatic, too paranoid. There's no reason why somebody that was lucky enough to be born in America and have access, when he opens his eyes, to the best businesses in the world everywhere, that he doesn't own a piece of that pie. The easiest way to do it is with the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq 100 or the Dow Jones 30. But if you just take a few years, even part-time, and study businesses and learn about people, you can do way better than that by owning some of the best companies in the world. So that is just to say that at the end of the day, I think 2 years worth of income of expenses is the right way to do it. And if it ends up being that 2 years worth of your expenses is too little, if you're on a roll and are getting insanely rich, then change it to some sort of a percentage. Fine. But for now, I mean, if everyone just does that, maybe with an 80-20 split between gold and silver or something to that effect, I love gold more than I love silver long term, then you're set. You're set. What can trouble you if you have 2 years worth of expenses in gold and silver?
Yeah, and I got to go back to what you were mentioning. One of those 100-year events. Have you by chance seen the movie Leave the World Behind?
Obama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth a watch.
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
I did watch it. I watched it and got disgusted.
You did?
It plays into so many racists.
That part really irritated me quite a lot. But the whole idea of alternative warfare,
sure, cyber attacks, etc.,
people turning on one another,
propaganda, etc.
That part of it really fascinated me.
Okay.
And perhaps it just this last week, AT&T went down here in my area of the country, and that blanketed a good swath of the country. And everybody was going into freak out mode and thinking, oh my gosh, are we being attacked? And so I kind of wonder, that scenario that you talked about, that where it would put everything upside down.
How likely is it?
Something like that is coming again. What form will it take? Not sure.
Well, just keep in mind, the movie's super simplistic. I can, if it helps you, if it reassures you, cyber attacks by China Russia, North Korea, Iran, they are happening right now. As we're doing this interview, there are critical infrastructure throughout the United States, throughout Europe, Israel, Australia, Japan, Canada, everywhere that you can think of that's aligned more with the civilized world, with the Western world, is being attacked constantly. It's not a question of whether or not you're attacked with cyber. It's a question of two things. One is how vulnerable the Western world is to these attacks, and two, I want you to keep that in mind. What does the West hold up its sleeve in terms of the way it's infiltrated the China and Russia and Iran and Venezuela and others, North Korea? And I can tell you that the policy of the West for the last 30 years has been to turn a blind eye, contain. You Americans call it include, like inclusion, and allow yourself to be a punching bag, all in the name of maybe they'll get tired of punching us and we'll all live in this fairy tale world where nobody hates the West. And as you know, it's not working.
No.
And so very soon you'll start seeing that how people that have ideas that are based on crap go away and reality sets in. We are entering wartime everywhere. The global order has essentially evaporated, and where we are right now is in sort of a controlled way of deconstructing globalization, and it will get violent in many regions. And so the world that you've lived for the last 30 years, it's gone.
Yeah.
Your enemies are out in the open. Cyber attacks are going to happen all the time. You may have these situations of, like you said, like breaches into critical companies, etc. I can tell you that this part of warfare is definitely part of the future, especially in a country like the United States, where it's essentially the most secured country in the world. Like you have two oceans, you have friendly neighbors to the north and south. It's extremely difficult to attack the United States. And so what I'm trying to tell you is cyber is the best way to attack the United States, because with troops, it's just nobody's sick enough to even try, except the Japanese, and they got nuked twice. So the Russians, and they felt and they didn't want to go, and they just wanted to build a base, to build bases in Cuba, and you saw what happened with that. So I think that at the end of the day, deglobalization means a lot of wars, means regional regional pacts. So what you see with NATO, which is Europe and the United States versus Russia, you're going to see that in Taiwan. Taiwan's going to definitely sign a defense pact, probably with Singapore and Japan and United States, of course, and maybe Australia. You're going to see another one in the Middle East, probably Israel, the Emirates, maybe Saudi Arabia if Israel proves to be strong and the Emirates take a huge bet and side with it, in the United States. So you're going to see all these pacts. You're probably going to see ones in Africa and other ones in Latin America. We are breaking up globalization. We're breaking up Bretton Woods, and we're creating a different world. Excuse me. And I just don't know how it will look, but that's definitely where we're heading in the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, and so for my viewers' benefit, if you enjoy listening to this global perspective that Lior brings, and great knowledge of history. He puts out some excellent material. I'll have links
Thank
down
you.
in the video description, and you just click on down there and pick your choice. Lior, what's the latest? Is there something that you want to steer our folks towards that they might find interesting in your latest reports?
Yeah, definitely. If you haven't checked my portfolio, check it out.
Yeah.
It's done phenomenally well. I really changed the companies in there. Some of them have been invested in for over a decade, and will continue to. So that's wealthresearchgroup.com/portfolio. And I also want you to think about the elections coming up in the United States, because what you're seeing on the border is not a crisis. If you think it's a crisis, then it's just because the media has told you it's a crisis. It is by design. It has two major designs, two major intents. If you want to check out the real reasons why the border is wide open, go to wealthresearchgroup.com/border, and you'll definitely be interested in understanding that.
All right, Lior, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on my channel from time to time and dropping this knowledge and your wisdom. And boy, oh boy, we started with gold. I kind of gave us a left turn in Albuquerque, but it's all good. Interesting stuff that I think my viewers will enjoy. And I sincerely do hope they click on those links and check out more of what you have to say.
Thank you, sir.